Alright, so let's get started. Thank you, Saranya. Thanks for making my life easier. So I still see some of the kids are not there, and that is understood because I've been changing the timing of the class a little frequently these days. But this is the last week. So this Saturday, Sunday, you guys will not have a class because yesterday was the makeup class for this week, and from the weekend following this Saturday, Sunday, we'll go back to our normal schedule unless something super pressing comes my way. I'll let you guys know. Okay? So, what are we going to learn today? Where did we leave in the last class? Who all remembers? We were talking about non-linear functions, and then I sent some topics for today, which is about isolating quantities. Isolating quantities. How do we isolate quantities? That's what we are going to put our focus on. So before I start, any going in statement from your side when it comes to your understanding of isolating quantities? What does it mean? Think about it. Isolating quantities. My math starts with English. So as long as I'm sure you guys, English for you guys is better than mine for sure. Your English is 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times better than mine. So I just put an English phrase in front of you guys saying isolating quantities. What does it actually mean? What you can relate it with? Dhanvin, Chris, Dave, Ria, anybody? Saranya? Nikhil? Varun? Anybody? My question to you guys is, today we are going to talk about isolating quantities. My question to you all is, what would be your interpretation of isolating quantities? What potentially we are going to talk about? Any guess? Any thoughtful guess?
Isolating the coefficient of a variable.
Okay, that's one point of view. Anybody else? But that was a very good attempt. Very, very good attempt. Because I said, my math starts from English. As long as we understand English, if I say we will talk about quantum physics today, that is not a math topic, right? By the outlook of the name itself, you can figure out, okay, this guy is not in his senses today. In the math class, he is trying to teach quantum physics, right? So same way, I said isolating quantities, and I got one response from Dhanvin, which was a very thoughtful one. Anybody else? Yeah, Dave. I could not hear you completely. So, one last time for me. So now, this was my strategic move. I didn't want to learn something by myself. I wanted to learn it from you guys. That's what I did. So Dave and Dhanvin, they explained me, when you talk about isolating quantities, you're actually talking about isolating the variables from the coefficients or the numbers. Hey Tanu.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So we have not started yet. So I was kind of doing some ice break with the topic that we are going to cover today. And I assume everybody can hear me okay, right? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
So, we are going to talk about isolating quantities, and the simplest thing that I want you to keep in mind is we are trying to isolating. If I say Daivik and Arush are good friends and I want to isolate them, I'm actually trying to separate them. So that Daivik has one identity, Arush has one identity. That's my goal when I'm talking about isolating things. Similarly, when I'm talking about isolating quantities, as Dhanvir and Dave explained me, that if I have this equal to something, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to isolate these two and get to a point where I have x on one side and everything else on the other side. Essentially, isolating quantities is a technique that we use for solving equations. So far, looking okay as a jump start. Everybody okay? Tanu, Varun, Nikhil, Saranya, Riya, everybody okay? So, simple thing is, isolating quantity is a technique or a trick or a method that we use for solving equations or solving equations with single or multiple variables. Okay? So now let's look at a couple of situations. X plus 9 equal to 17. You will say that, sir, you are fooling around. All of us know x equal to 17 minus 9 is equal to 8. I'm not trying to make you guys learn how to do this. You all know it. What I'm saying is, this is an example of isolating quantities. What did we do? We isolated x on one side, move everything to the other side. And that is what we get got into solution for this one. Now, if I extend this further and say I have 4x plus 2y equal to 18, and I want you guys to solve it and give me the value of x and y, what will be your first response? If I say this is an equation, solve it for x and y. I mean, because x and y are my variables, which I don't know what the value is. I want you guys to solve for it. What will be your first response? Okay. Anybody on the street? I am saying I have an equation 4x plus 2y equal to 18. Solve it for x and y. What will be your first thoughtful response? Let's see. Yes, Chris. We would need another equation. That's one response. Okay. Okay. So Chris's thing is, we would need another equation. Anybody else? Riya? Saranya? Your point of view. Yes, Saranya. Okay. So, let me give you guys a very lame example. You guys can see how big my belly looks like. Yeah. Okay. Guess, make some guesswork. So I can stuff how much food in this one. It will be enough for one person to digest. Correct? If I stuff food that 4 of you can eat in my one stomach, I am not capable of digesting it. So is the case here. If an equation is like a belly, it can only digest food for one person. You have an equation with two variables. Your first response would be, I cannot solve it for both the variables. I cannot solve for x and y with one equation to get a point blank value for x and y. Because you all know by now that if you have an equation like this, it will, if you plot this in a coordinate plane, it will draw a straight line. It's a linear equation. And linear equation means there are n number of solutions or infinite number of solutions or a combination of x and y that you can get. But there is no one answer that you are getting by one equation. So now the most horrendous example that I have given you guys, if you have an equation, you see two variables, every variable is food worth one person and you are trying to stuff that in one stomach. Be two variables, or if I say 3x minus 9y plus 8z equal to 18, you will say that why you have to keep on repeating your mistake again and again. You have gone to the next level, you are stuffing food of 3 people in one stomach. This will lead to indigestion. You will not be able to digest it. You will not be able to solve it. I hope all that stunt I am doing right now is only to make you guys remember this in a most funny way, which will not wipe out from your memory anytime sooner. Yeah? Is everybody able to follow what I am saying? Yes, Nikhil. Can you hear me okay? No, I cannot. I cannot hear you, Nikhil. Somebody knocking the door? Maybe you can try opening the one on the bottom. So, what I was saying was, you need as many variables. You need as many equations to solve. You need as many equations to solve for as many variables.
Yes, sir.
One second, guys. Okay? So, the simplest takeaway from all the blabbering I have done for last 5 minutes is, you need as many equations to solve for that many number of variables. If I have one equation with 3 variables, that is not enough. I need at least 3 equations. If I have 2 equations, if I have to solve for 2 variables, like the previous example that I was giving you, let's say 2x minus y 5y equal to 17. Same problem. 2 persons food in one stomach. You need 2 stomachs actually to digest it. Meaning you need 2 equations. Is that analogy looking tolerable to you guys, or it's bothering you more? Varun, Riya, is that looking okay? Saranya, Tanu, okay?
Yeah.
And one thing is given for free, it gets little annoying at times. That is my dad jokes, okay? So bear with me at times. Alright? So this is an equation with 2 variables. The equation by itself is not sufficient to get you the answer for or value for x and y. It can give you a combination of x and y values, but no one answer. Yeah? So far okay? I'm telling Chris, this is a message for everybody. Whenever you are joining a meeting and you are not able to hear anybody or people are not able to hear you, trust me, I have no solution for it. The only way to do that is disconnect and join back again. It's solved by itself. Okay, that's a gift from Google Meet or whoever it is. So couple of understanding that we have looked at so far is, you need as many equations for solving as many variables. Solving for as many variables. Second thing, we saw that if I have a simple linear equation, it gives you multiple options. Now let's look at one more concept. If I have an equation like this, what does it actually mean to us? Any equation, what does it mean? Any equation. Tanu, Saranya, anybody? Nikhil, can you hear me okay now? So, can you hear me now, Nikhil? Okay. So, the question to everybody was, if I have any equation, be it one variable, two variable, three variable, quantity equation, binomial, anything, what does it mean actually as a starting point? Saranya, Varun, Anu, Dave, anybody? Okay, now another question. Do I look scary by any chance? No, right? So don't be afraid of me. Give me answers in a fearless way. Let it go wrong, that's fine. Okay? I want to keep hearing the answers or your thoughts around the question that we come across. Okay, without taking much of a time. Now, when you talk about any equation, an equation is nothing but a contract. It's a contract, it's an agreement between the variables. Now you look at this equation and relate that with the contract. Here, this is a contract between x and y. What they agreed for? X says 2 times of my value and x is talking to y. Okay? There is a discussion going on here. X says 2 times my value minus 5 times your value will be equal to 17. This is a contract between the two variables here, which says this value minus this. So that means if x increases, y will also change. If x decreases, y will also change. Okay? And that is why when you look at plot this in a coordinate plane, you will see a straight line. And every point on the straight line is nothing but part of the contract, which says my value was this, your value was this, was giving this outcome. If you go to this point, x and y both have changed to get the same outcome. So any equation that you look at, it's always a contract or agreement between the variables with a given protocol. That my value plus your value is this. Are these sounding relatable or I'm just going way too far? Dave, okay. Chris, Dhanlin, Ria, Saranya, Sanu. Making sense? Yeah? Varun? Same, okay? Alright. So, we'll keep these things as a takeaway with us in our pocket all the time. No matter whether you have pocket in your pant or not, but keep these concepts with you always. Figure out where you want to keep it. One thing is, you need as many equations as the number of variables. You cannot solve for 2 variables in one equation. That is one. Second thing is, any equation that you look at, it's always a contract between the variables where it says, okay, my value times something, this is the outcome. The outcome will not change, this is the outcome. Okay? Now let's go deeper into it. And the third thing was isolating quantities, where we were trying to isolate something to get to this solution. Now come back. If I ask you guys, can you solve it for x and y? Don't jump onto solving it, okay? I'm not in a hurry. I don't want you guys to solve it. I want you guys to think and process and then be very clear about how you want to approach it. I have given you guys 2 equations and 2 variables. So my first statement of you need as many equations as the number of variables. So you have 2 variables and you have 2 equations. So first criteria is state that you have at least all the required things that you need to be able to solve it for x and y. Okay? Second thing is, now solve it and then we'll try relating that with the isolating quantities concept, which was our starting point. Can everybody try solving it? And you guys have only 5 minutes. Solve it for x and y and give me the answer.
So the y was this in the second equation.
This one?
No, the second.
This one?
Yeah, y over 2 or
Y.
It's a top with 4 minus 2y.
4x minus 2y equal to 17. 3 by 2x minus y by 2 equal to 8. How are you solving it? Okay. No notebook today? That's okay. But I would always prescribe you guys to get your hands dirty. Can I assume everybody is trying? Vishal, Varun, Tanu, Saranya, okay, Tanvin, Priya, Dave. Okay. No, I mean, I have a very bad habit of bugging people, but trust me, there's a reason. Okay, I will ask you guys to stop. Everybody please stop. Because the idea is not to solve and get the answer. Because I don't care about the answer. I care about the process part of it. So that's what I'm trying to enforce. So I will leave it up. Leave it. This question is not going to earn you even $1. Okay. Now let's come to this one. We have two equations, we are trying to solve for it. Okay? So we have everything in place that we need for solving it. I mean, assuming the concept that I mentioned, that holds enough water. Now the second thing is, how do you solve it? From approach point of view, what you will try to do? You will try to find out maybe value of x from first equation and substitute this here.
I did it differently.
Okay?
I found x from the second equation and then substituted in the first.
Any which way is okay. I mean, basically from one equation you find out the value of one variable in relation to y, substitute in the other equation, and then you solve it. Then again take the value of y, put it here. Or x. And I am not trying to act smart here. I am just telling you what you guys will do any which way. You guys are all knowing it. Let me just quickly solve an easier problem. I have x plus y equal to 50 and 2x minus y equal to 80. Here. I have this equation to solve, let's say. So what I will do is, okay, let's say x equal to 15 minus y. I got it from first equation. I substitute this value here. 2 times x is 15 minus y equal to 80. And I got 30 minus 2y minus y equal to 18. That means 30 minus 3y equal to 18, or 3y equal to 30 minus 18, or 12, y equal to 4. See how quick I am. That is not important for you. What is important is, if you look at the sequence of events, what did we do in the first go? We isolated x. This is aligning with the concept of isolating quantities. We isolated one guy and then we substituted this here. Again, what we are trying to do, after doing all this, we will isolate y. So the whole concept of solving equation it revolves around the basic premise of isolating quantities. Yep. So people can say solving system of linear equation or isolating quantities, both are the same thing. Same content with two different packaging. Yeah. But what is that we are looking for? We have two variables, two equations. Here first thing we did was isolated that. Now what we tried doing by substituting this here, look at this equation. What did we do by substituting it here? By substituting this, we transform this equation into an equation with one variable. Let me repeat myself. In the first step, we isolated x. Everybody with me? We took this value of x and substituted in the second equation. And then we got this equation. And let me write this equation. This became 30 minus 3y equal to 18. After substitution, what happened? We transformed this into an equation, one equation with one variable. That is the most comfortable state when you are trying to solve for variables. Your goal is to, life is always very easy if somebody says, you have to just subtract the constant. If somebody says x by 5 equal to 20, this is also easy. You just do butterfly to get x equal to 100. So, net, your desired state is this. Come to an equation where you have one variable in one equation. Very easy to solve. Yeah? So, you are using isolation technique, you are using substitution method to get to your desired state. One equation with one variable. If you guys are studying math today or studying English or science, what is your goal? Your goal is to be successful in your career, get somewhere. Somebody wants to become a doctor, somebody an engineer, somebody wants to become a scientist, whatnot. There are a lot of things. So you have a goal in mind, that's why you are studying, right? Same thing, when we are trying to solve for the equation also, our goal is this. I want to get to a situation where I have one equation with one variable. Once we get to that state, life is easy. So whatever I mentioned so far, isolation, substitution, desired state, now I want you guys to look at one problem. This I will not complicate this. If you have to solve this, don't try solving it. Just tell me the story. How would you approach this kind of a problem with whatever we have discussed so far? Okay? I'll come to you, Nikhil. Let me hear Sahil. So basically you are saying that you will isolate y first. You will isolate y and don't try solving it. I'm saying you will isolate y here and then you will substitute the value of y here in this equation, whatever it be, and then you will solve this equation. Yeah? Same thing? Yes, Nikhil, tell me, what is cooking up in your mind? Nikhil, you might be talking on mute. Unmute yourself. We can make a system of equations. I'm trying to make things simpler, you are making complicated. So, be it system of equation, be it anything else, my goal is to simplify this. Let's hear Vishal also. Yes, Vishal.
It's okay.
Okay. So there is a new term that has come into play. Elimination, which I have not talked about. Okay. So that is another thing. Ria, Thanu, Saranya, any thoughts? If you are dealing with a systematic equation or pair of equation that you are trying to solve for, using which you are trying to solve for x and y, we heard from okay. So we heard from Nikhil that now we'll use system of equation. Vishal said that we'll use elimination technique. So that's another method that we have not talked about. So I know I'm going all over the place, but let's decompile all that we have discussed so far, and then we'll go to different techniques for solving problems. So first thing, starting point was you need as many equations as number of variables. That's the first thing. If you don't have it, don't attempt it even. That is one thing. Second thing was that isolation is a technique that we use for solving equations. Meaning, ultimately you are trying to isolate your variables. So any type of equation that you deal with, be it a linear equation, be it quadratic equation, or any type of equation, ultimately you are trying to isolate the variables. Getting stressful?
Oh no.
I thought I'm giving headache to my kids. Okay. So, second thing is you are isolating the variables to get the variable on one side and the value on the other side. That makes your job easier. And then Vishal gave a surprise saying, okay, there is a method of elimination also. We talked about substitution and then elimination. Now let's recompile the whole thing. Let's look at the two key methods to solve system of equations. Now I'm saying the same thing that Nikhil also said, and I have copy pasted what Vishal mentioned as well. Yeah, Nikhil, saying something. Okay, your mic is not working, but you have raised your hand, so I'm assuming this is. So now let's focus on the key concepts or the approach that we will use for solving number of equations. Okay, so let's say I have x plus y equal to 18 and 2x minus y equal to 22. Okay. Our goal is to isolate. So we want to isolate x and y and solve it. Or we will find out ways. So another thing was our ultimate goal is to do whatever we want to do with this equation to come to a point something like x plus something equal to something. Meaning one equation is only one variable. That is our desired state. So first method for doing that or achieving that is called method of substitution. You will take the value from one equation, substitute in the other equation, deal with it. So here let's say if you take x equal to 18 minus y and put this value in the second equation. So 2 times x is 18 minus y equal to 22 over 12. So what happened was when you substituted, you converted this equation with 2 variables into equation with 1 variable, only y. That is your desired state. Sorry. This is called method of substitution. Now there is another method which is called method of elimination. Meaning, you want to do some juggling with the equations you have to knock off extra variables. Here, if I just add these equations, I have 2 equations, I want to play with it, add the 2 equations, it gives a, creates a third equation. If I add them, what will happen? X plus 2x becomes 3x, plus y minus y becomes 0y, or I'll just not write it to avoid confusion. And then 18 plus 22 becomes 40. It became a third equation, which is my desired thing. So ultimately, by substitution or by this method, I am trying to get to a place where I have one equation with one variable to find the value of one of the variable. So this is called the method of elimination. What we did was we combined the equations to eliminate one of the variables. Is that making sense to everybody? I need 30 likes. No, I don't like likes, but I'm just trying to confirm that everybody is with me. Yeah? Okay. So, Sarah, Neil, you guys are a little late today, but are you guys able to follow so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Saranya, okay, beta?
Yeah.
Safe?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so let me move on. I just randomly picked some names. That doesn't mean. So, now recompiled version of what I said. There are two methods mainly. One is called method of substitution, second is called method of elimination. And by doing all that, our only goal is to get to a point where it transforms into an equation with one variable. Okay? Now there are some more tricks and tips that we all need to be aware of before we try attempting these problems. If I have an equation 4x plus 2y equal to 18, what are the things that I can do with this equation? Or what are the torturing that you can do with this equation without changing the overall meaning of this one? What all you can do with this equation without changing the value of it?
You can isolate one of the variables.
No, let me rephrase my question. I'm saying I have this equation. Let's say I'm your math teacher. What are things that you can do with me? You can ask me questions on one math topic, second topic, third topic. Can you ask me physics questions? Probably not. I'm not prepared. Yes.
So what can I do the equations without changing it?
Uh-huh.
You can divide everything by 2.
You can multiply it by any number. All the terms of this equation. You can divide it by any number that you like. Each and every term of the equation. And that doesn't change the overall behavior or the nature of the equation. And we call them equivalent equations. Okay? If I have x minus y equal to 17, if I multiply everything by 2, it becomes 2x minus 2y equal to 24. Both are same equation. Yeah? So you can always choose to multiply or divide each and every term of the equation by one given constant, and that will not change anything for anybody. Nobody will get hurt, nobody will feel bad about it. Does that make sense? Now, let me do some magic here on the board, and then I will let you guys practice few problems. Let's see how much time do we have. Okay, we still have 20 minutes. So let's say if I have 4x minus 2y equal to 26, 3x plus y equal to 18. And I have to solve for it. So don't try solving it. I'll give you guys opportunity. Anyway, wait a minute. So if I have these two equations, if I have to solve it, how would I build a story for myself? How will I convince myself that I'm ready to do it? Goes back to my most annoying concept. I'm reading the questions. 4x minus 2y equal to 26, 3x minus 2y equal to this. And then I'm thinking about it. I have two equations and two variables. So I have everything that I need to at least make the attempt. And how would I do it? Okay, I have two methods, method of elimination, method of substitution. What would work better? And I also know that I can play around with this equation. I can multiply any equation with any number that I like. Okay, here, if I multiply this equation by 2, this becomes plus 2y and this is minus 2y. When I add them together, I'll be able to knock off y completely out of the same. So when I did that thinking, now I have a blueprint. Okay, I can multiply this equation by 2 and add them together. Then I'll simply knock off one of the variable. Then I'll be left with only x. I will get the value of x. Then I can put the value of x in one of the equation and done. I have my whole blueprint ready. I did my assessment of what I have, what I can use. Then I looked at my approach. I evaluated method elimination, substitution. Then I tried doing it. Now I have very clear plan laid out for myself. I will try solving it. So this problem is not existing for you guys. I want you guys to solve. So I have a pair of equation for you guys. I want you guys to solve it for x and y. 2 by 3x plus y equal to 17, x plus 3y equal to 18. Solve it for x and y. And before you try solving it, it is worthwhile to spend 2 minutes to do your thoughtful evaluation. Any of you who are not willing to solve it should be ready with their story to convince me. That's an option for side because you don't have your notebook. So think about it and then you give me your story. Has everybody got the question? Shiv, Riya, Dhanvin, Chris, everybody got the question, right? You guys have 5 minutes for solving it. 5 to 7 minutes maybe. Sara, Neil,
Yes, sir.
you guys got the question?
Yeah.
Tanu, Varun, everybody, Vishal. At times you guys might think that this is an easy question, why to solve. Trust me, regardless of how easy or difficult the question is, I would insist, request, plead you guys to try solving the problem. Okay? Yes, Riya.
So minus 5.
Little louder, brother.
X is negative 3 and y is 5. How do you
X is one more time.
negative 3?
Negative 3, okay. Y is
Positive 5.
positive 5. And guys, whatever Riya said, ignore that. I want you all to have your own answer, okay? Don't get biased. Yeah, Vishal.
I got x is equal to 33
X equal to 33. Y equal
and
to
y is equal to negative 5.
negative 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I said, don't get biased by anybody's answer. Your answers are your own answer, what you should rely on. Yes.
Oh, I got x is
23. Okay.
and y is
Okay.
33 for x and negative 5.
Okay.
Oh, actually. 33.
That's right. How was it done? Okay. And again, you guys can remain friends, but when it comes to solving problem, only trust your answer. Your best friend might not give you the best answer possible.
I got x into the y is positive.
X 33 and Y 45.
Positive.
So fine. I mean, we're going to wrap it up, and I'll solve it the way that I want you guys to try. Okay.
How can we solve it?
I want to see how you guys solve it. Okay. Arush, can you show me how you write a story with solving it?
I got -5.
You got -5?
Yeah, 33 -5.
Okay. Tanu, Saranya, beta, how are things looking like? What would be your answer, Saranya and Tanu? Are you getting close?
Right.
Out.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. How about Shiv?
I found X number 1.
Okay. How much is X?
X was 11.
X was 11. How about you, Arun?
I got X is 33 and Y is 95.
Okay. Okay. How about you, beta?
I said
X is 23,
I
Y
was
is
positive.
45. Yeah, that's right. See how strong is my memory. I hardly remember anything. So if I was given the task of memorizing formulas, I'll be the best person to mess it up. Okay. Now I want everybody to hear my story. Yeah? Are you guys ready to hear my exciting story? Okay. So we had these two equations. Now this is when my brain starts processing it. Okay, I have two equations and two variables. I have the bare minimum that I need to start. No problem with that. Now this guy looks little annoying to me. 2 by 3, like little messed up. But I have a way to knock off y. Why? Because if I multiply this by 3 and then subtract one of the equation from the other one. So if I multiply this by 3, it becomes 2 by 3 into 3, that is 2x, plus 3 into y is 3y, equal to 17 times 3, 51.
To take off y, wouldn't you have to multiply by -3?
No, I can subtract. So like the way I can form equation by adding them, I also have the option of subtracting one equation from the other one. Okay. So I have this, and now I have x plus 3y equal to 18. So let's write x plus 3y equal to 18, and I subtract this equation from the above one. What happens? 2x minus x is x, plus 3y minus 3y becomes 0, equal to 51 minus 18, 33. X is 33, I will put it here. X is 33 plus 3y equal to 18. 3y equal to 18 minus 33, which is minus 15. Y equals minus 15 by 3, minus 5. Okay? So, now it is not about who got what answer. It is about how we are making our brain process the problem. Okay? I'm not trying to showcase my talent here. I'm just making you guys think of the structure that you want to build while solving the problem. So that's why I said, okay, as I said, okay, when I have the two equations, first thing I did was I validated that, okay, I have two variables, two equations. I have a starting point. Then I start thinking, okay, what is the best approach that I can take? This looks too complicated, complex calculation. I don't want to get into that mess. But if I multiply this whole thing by 3, I'll have 3y here, 3y here. Then I can choose which one to subtract from which one. I can subtract this equation from this one or this one from this one, doesn't matter. It's like, I have two equations, I can merge them together add them, subtract them together to make a third equation. Okay? And that is my method of elimination actually. So here, when I multiply this by 3, both are 3y, I can subtract 1, it gives me the value of x instantaneously. Yeah? So that is why before I got into solving the problem, I kept on giving you guys a dump of all the things that we need to be aware of. Like multiplying equations, dividing equation doesn't change anything. If you subtract one equation from another equation, that is still okay. Right? So that becomes the ingredient for us, and then we are looking at how we can solve this real quick. Trust me, if you guys practice enough, this kind of problem you can solve in 2 minutes. But that only needs one thing from your side. Analyze. Please analyze. Please analyze. I'll say please 5 more times because that's very important. Yep. When you have a problem, please hesitate, don't hesitate to analyze. That's going to become your rule of thumb if you really want to make math scared of you rather than you being scared of math. Yeah? Is this sounding like something that I am able to convince you guys, or I'm still convincing myself? Shiv, Vishal, Varun, Saranya, Riya. Am I making sense so far? Do you think that analysis part that I'm emphasizing on is actually making sense? Is it worthwhile? Yeah? You will always think that this old man is about to retire and he's always teaching us techniques to waste time. I'm not asking you to waste time. I'm asking you to invest time in this phase so that this phase is much more quicker for you guys. I'm not saying that you guys took longer, but if you would have taken the same approach like what I followed, probably that would have saved you 15 seconds for you. Yeah? Overall. Try doing that. I'm okay being proven wrong. If 10 of you, apply this technique and then you realize, okay, based on what we have seen in the last 4 months, I'm taking 2 minutes extra for solving each and every problem. Let's dump this part. I will stop talking about it. But if you see this is helping, my Jonathan. Okay, Tanu. Tanu will think, why my name? All of a sudden from nowhere. Just one child I take a name. Sara, okay? Is there anyone in the class who want to contest if this approach is not sounding okay? Pick up a problem, think about what you need bare minimum. Do you have it? Yes, you are good to go. Then you think about the approach. There are only 2 approaches when it comes to solving system equation. One is called substitution, second is called method of elimination. Both is resulting into this. Both are meant for navigating into this state where you will end up having one equation with one variable. And once you get there, you know you are trying to isolate. So everything that you are doing here is a mechanism for isolating quantities. So no matter which term you remember it by, but this is the building block of how do we want to deal with system of equations, how do you want to approach a problem like this. Now the only request I have for you all is make sure that you go to Khan Academy, go to isolating quantities topic, straight away jump to the quizzes that you have toward the end of the topic. Try doing it. Apply these tricks and come back to me if this is not working for us. We'll find out something more. Yep. I am not going to chase any of you to confirm me that you guys have finished your unit test on Khan Academy or not. But I am going with the assumption that you guys are all grown up kids I don't have to do any policing. I don't want to. I don't like doing that because the day I start doing it, it'll not be a fun for me. Neither will be fun for you. I want you guys to go and try it and then come back to me and say, okay, sir, I think whatever you taught, that was okay for 90% of things. There's still 10% of the problem that I'm struggling with. Can you help to find out something more interesting about it? That is what would be a discussion that I would like to engage in. Okay? With that being said, have fun.
Thank you, sir.
Alright. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye. 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 Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.